expected. Fine enough. Everington, as Ambassador Parthasarathy was rightly pointing out, economically, Taiwan is a world leader in high-tech industry and a dominant power in semiconductor business. And Taiwan's semiconductor players even outshine the US in advanced technologies. And given that kind of economic interest that the world has in Taiwan, what kind of noise has this entire visit of Nancy Pelosi and also now the development that has happened vis-a-vis China created on ground? Because last time when I had a guest from Taipei, he gave me a sense that this is perhaps of interest to journalists outside Taipei and Taiwan. For people, it's business as usual, just another normal day.
Yes, that's exactly right. And the reason is because Taiwanese people have grown up with this their entire lives. So they deal with this kind of thing every day. And so they've become numb to the situation. And so there's very little that phases them. And but as another speaker said, they're also very resilient and smart in the way that they're dealing with this, because they know the best way to deal with this is to not overreact and give China any inkling of any excuse to take actual military action. And so that's the strategy. But yeah, everybody's going through their day as normal. I was out on the streets and restaurants were packed. People were out and about town, and you'd never know that literally there were missiles flying over Taipei at that moment. We think that at least 4 flew over Taipei. So, yeah, it's quite extraordinary how casual everybody is and very relaxed. And they're definitely inside in their subconsciously, for sure. There's definitely a lot of concern.
So there's no alarm per se, despite flights being cancelled by South Korea to Taiwan.
Right. Among Taiwanese, there's not a strong reaction, and people, it's not really much of a topic of conversation. It's more among foreigners here are more concerned because they don't have this kind of experience. And yes, news agencies and journalists from overseas, tend to be more concerned. But rightly so. I mean, this is a very serious matter.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be taken lightly at all. And so that's why we in the media are definitely covering this, because it's extremely important and highly consequential. It's just that the average Taiwanese person knows that it is beyond their control. So there's no point in them trying to get, getting worked up about it, because they know there's nothing they can really do about it, basically.
Okay. Dr. Nagao, Taiwan and South Korea, in fact, control 70% of semiconductor manufacturing globally. Given that kind of interest just about every country has in Taiwan, what is it that Japan is looking at with all the mobilization that has happened of forces, and is Japan of the opinion that there has to be a counter mobilization?
Of course, semiconductor is a vital part of the developing the new technologies. And currently, because of the strategic competition between US and China and economic sanction against Russia, so this supply chain of the semiconductor is a very vital part to develop technology as a part of competition. So that's why if China try to intervene in this supply chain, of course we need to protect it. But at the same time, these exercises will end in the August 7th, China said. So that's why this is just a temporary event. If China will end this exercise. So that's why the strategic issue will be affected by this exercise. So, Dr. Nagao, the sense in the
establishment in Tokyo is that this is temporary, that this will not really be escalating into a full-blown conflict.
I think so, because China China promised to do something. China tried to demonstrate their military power, but as a preparation period, they do not have enough time to do that. That's why this exercise is just exercise, not a real war. This is just a demonstration. So this is just a training, they said. And indeed, this is a training for not only for China, but also for us, indeed. So we will strengthen our cooperation, and this is the response of us.
So then
we-
Japan
China
actually
will be loser
feels
because
that
we can
now that
strengthen
they have lodged protests with China through diplomatic channels, that's good enough.
Protest diplomatically is on surface because real protest is our strengthening our cooperation.
Okay.
U.S., Japan, we can plan to support Taiwan based on these exercises. This exercises is not exercise only for China. We can train ourselves by using these exercises. And we can rise the motivation to resist China's domination in this region. That's why we will be the winner and they are loser.
Okay, so Tokyo will be the winner and China will be the loser. That's what you're saying.
I think so.
Okay. Ambassador Parthasarathy, let me give you the final words. You got a sense all's well as far as Taipei is concerned. It's people are continuing with their lives, and the excitement about the news is largely outside, and with journalists and newsmen there, and a voice from Tokyo was certainly of similar kind. So you may very well get the assessment right.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it will be a very happy ending if we can sign a collaboration agreement with Taiwan, because we are talking of setting up a semiconductor industry in India, perhaps in Bangalore. So I look at these things economically because these are all mature people. I mean, we may have differences with China, but it's not fair to mislead them. And at the same time, as I said, I have great admiration. And our Japanese friends are very mature. They have made their power and position primarily by economic power. And therefore, as I said, you have to look at the whole situation holistically. Nobody wants a conflict now. I mean, the Americans are broke. We're all faced with a COVID. Our budgets are running hard. Nobody wants a conflict.
All right, Ambassador Parthasarathy, really appreciate your time. Dr. Nagao, appreciate your time. Everington and Laura Hart, thank you so much. Shifting focus.